Ba, ba, ba. All right, I think we are live, boys and girls. Hello, welcome to the Gaming Pit podcast. We're going live. We're doing the Montauk project. This is like the Stranger Things sort of thing, but we're just going to be going through our normal, sorting drinks out. May's just gone to get a drink and things like that. So we are live. It's very good. It's very nice. Yeah, so just, if you have to skip forwards a bit, and we'll be on it. Just while I share this to Twitter and things. Get it in the Discord. We're in the Discord. I need to get it in this Discord. We need to go to live. Where are you? Boop. Let me go back to the Gaming Pit. Big up the screen. Just myself and Matt today. I'm Sai. We are with Matt, i.e. Master of Mayhem and Task Force Gaming. Real life Stranger Things. This is what Stranger Things is based on. It is mental. And we get a record on as well. And then we'll do a proper introduction. Podcast. Gaming Pit. Oops. Mayhem. Montauk. Project. Boosh. Right. Here we go, boys. I got too much stuff in the way. Oh yeah, baby. Right. We are very good, very nice, I think. Oh yeah.
We live.
Yeah, we are live. I've just done a little intro, told them what's what, told them what we're doing. I'll do a proper one in a minute because I just started recording as well. Yeah, I mean yeah, man. I shared it in Twitter though as well, so tagged you in all of that. We are good. I just need the OBS up to make sure we're good. We are now called Sai and Matt.
Ooh.
So we're going down a professional road. Weird. It's the first time I've met Matt. He's always been mayhem to me. But yeah, I think we're looking pretty good. Audio sweet. We're good to go. Drinks at the ready. 5 of them.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yep. You are golden.
That's good to go. A little bit shade on my face there, but I'm gonna move my light later on. But that's not for all your listeners. They don't care. They just listen to our voices and we put them to sleep every time. That's how it starts and that's how it ends. Guys, Montauk Project.
Montauk Project. Yep.
It's a mind bending one. It's a proper mind wonk. I've been trying to get my head around since Jesus. What year do we have? 10 years now.
Really?
Yeah. First time I heard about it was 10 years ago.
Holy crap.
And, the connections between the Philadelphia experiment and the small connection with Alistair Crowley as well. Apparently this cunt was trying to interfere, or maybe was interfering with the Second World War through the timelines and so on and so on. But let's not talk about this yet.
Yeah, this is our 5th podcast. 005 officially. We did Walt Disney was last time we did it, and it was over a month ago, just because issues.
We had a little break. We decided not to see each other.
Yeah, had enough. Mayhem's shed filled with water, and there was so nothing broke. You just seeping water in, it was all good. You just had to abandon ship.
Yeah, and fortunately the weather was really good and helped me a lot. It hasn't rained for at least a week now. So I got everything dried up. I got the floorboards replaced, and I'm good to go.
Hell yeah, man. All right then, Gaming Pit number 5 podcast. How's it going? Hope everyone's good. We are live. We are all sorts. King Killer's in the chat already. What's up, bro? How's it going, man? You good? We're obviously live, and then it will go on to recording as well onto YouTube. And this week we have the Montauk project. Montauk. Okay, so the Montauk project. We're just going to dive straight into the deep end here because Mayhem has a Harry Potter 4-sized book of information for us. And I thought I was good doing 5 pages. I was like, yeah, I got this. And he just rocks up with an absolute repertoire there. So I'm going to break it down, and then I'm going to give you some sort of idea what's going on. Killer, how you doing, man? How's the family? Hope you're good. Nice to see you in here. That's too much blue on one screen. You're too blue. I'm red. You're blue.
Blue. Sorry.
Can we have some ambiance?
Oh, we changed to green. Is that okay?
Yeah, oh, that's a bit better. Do you like? How's that? 100% true. How you doing? Welcome to the chat. We've got a couple in there already. We're just going to kick off, and if you miss anything or whatever, it's always available on the actual channel itself. It's the newest channel. We had 50 episodes on my personal YouTube, but we decided to make a new one, etc. So here we go. Montauk Project, boys. If it sounds a bit of a weird name, you will recognise it. Stranger Things. If anyone's seen Stranger Things, you've heard of Stranger Things. It's so popular on Netflix. I think season 4 is coming the next month or something. Yeah, it's that basically. But great response, love heart. There you go. Blue. Sorry, green. Feeling blue, maybe. So yeah, Stranger Things, mind control, CIA experiments. That's very good. Yeah, we might have to turn his mic up as well at some point, or make sure that it's in the right direction. He's gone for the. He wanted to be like me. He's copying me. The up approach. That's it. Yeah, it's like this.
Right. You don't have to see me.
Right, so diving in, boys. Right, the Montauk Project is a conspiracy theory about government projects conducted at a place called Camp Hero. There's also on YouTube videos people going up to Camp Hero and having a look around. I think you're allowed. Is it me or the British speakers sounding smart is the key to this whole thing? Definitely, yeah. And Mayhem's Irish, so when he starts to speak, yeah, it'll just plummet. But slap in the face that mic. So Montauk, Camp Hero, Air Force Base, New York. Right, it's shut down. But if you look on YouTube, plenty of people have been there and to look around. So you get these adventure YouTubers that have actually been to Camp Hero, and you can look around. It's a mental building. It's an old RAF base, and basically it's got a massive antenna at the top, but some real dodgy shit went down in there. So if the name rings a bell, it's because of the popular Netflix show Stranger Things, all based around this project. So this project was in the 80s, which is obviously where the Stranger Things show is based around, that era. Stories have been circulating since the 1980s, and to quote a guy called Preston B. Nichols, who was an electrical engineer at Montauk Air Force Base, this is his words as well. Essentially, 2 projects: a mind control project where they influenced the mind of man using electromagnetics, and also developed or evolved into time travel. End quote. That was his exact words. So to set the scene for the secret time travel program that the CIA was working, all sounds a bit nuts, doesn't it? Secret time travel programs. Strange. If you've seen Stranger Things and they go to that place called the Upside Down, go on, man.
He added one more thing. There was interdimensional travel as well.
Yeah, I've got some stuff on that as well later on.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, I reckon you've got some more in-depth stuff on about that. But I'm probably just like the icing on the cake. Mayhem is going to be the full cake.
No, not really. I'm not jumping
You're missing a few slices, but most of the cake. So, to set the scene for the secret time travel program the CIA was working on, you get into a room with a strange machine. So you go into a room, there's a strange machine. It's like sort of like a sci-fi show anyway, because there's a chair in there, and a young boy was strapped into the chair, scared but looking determined. He's wearing a skull cap that was all different wires hanging out of it. So it's sort of like a Star Trek sort of scene, and you know how they make up all the buttons and the lights on a spaceship set. So they've got the big tower, it's all flashing lights. There's a lad strapped to a chair, looks like an electric chair. He's got a skull cap on, all lights flashing. He's got all different coloured wires going into his brain and things like that. But it's all for good reason, maybe. Anything's probably not for good reason with the CIA, actually. But once satisfied, the boy is secure. 2 men in black suits and two scientists, they turn the machine on, and you can hear the hum of electricity. The boy looks scared, and for the scientist to calm him down and says, just like we discussed, concentrate on the target and the date, September 4th, 1976. So the lad's strapped to a chair. He's about to do something sick. He's got this date and time focused in there. That's how they do it. He's focused on that point. The mind's eye and all that jazz. So the hum of the power grid grew so strong in the room that it was just absolutely unbearable. A blinding flash of light, and the boy disappeared. Then a minute later, reappears, sweating and panting profusely. One of the men in black suits rush over and says, "Did you see him? Did you see the target?" The boy nods his head, and with a quiet, exhausted voice, the boy says, "Yes, he was talking with a man about a submarine called Akula." Then the boy faints. These are the words the men in black said after. "Tell the president our operatives successfully infiltrated Soviet space-time. He didn't gather any useful intelligence, only confirmed that our field operatives know already. The Russians are building a big submarine," which was the codename Akula. So this boy apparently travelled there, saw the submarine, saw his target, and then come back. Have you heard about the same thing, Mayhem?
Yeah. They used allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. I'm
Their,
telling it as if it's like a story for you, just to make it a bit easier in your brain.
allegedly, they used the chair for many purposes. Like, as you said, you know, it's like a looking glass, through the looking glass, to see the target, to apprehend any information, and so on. And they also used it for travel as well. So
Yeah, we got some more on that.
You're doing
So
great.
yes, this is according to whistleblowers as well. So they're according to whistleblowers, like Edward Snowden and the NSA and all that stuff. That's a whistleblower. Basically, you work for these secret governments, and then once you bail and just blow the whole project onto the public, basically. Using psychic children to reach out different dimensions, and apparently this is only the start. They had actually successfully accomplished many things deep underground. Camp Hero ran for 11 years. Two men needed hypnotherapy to recover from what they experienced as children. So I'm not sure if I'm going to repeat myself here, but what I remember from watching stuff about this, they needed hypnotherapy, and when they was getting it, like, it sort of unlocked the past memories for them, so they were sort of brainwashed to forget it. So they didn't remember their childhood or remember any of this stuff, but they were traumatized by something but didn't know what. So they go into this hypnotherapy, and then it all starts coming back, and they're having flashes of this chair and this room and stuff. It must be like, wow, man. Like, I don't, like, for a second in my mind, do not doubt for 1 second that the CIA were 100% doing stuff to people to try and do this sort of, like, mind travel, all this crazy stuff. There's no way that they did not try this. Or, apparently, the project is still on running, which doesn't surprise me either. They would have just moved the place. But,
What if, they probably did that. And
legit, yeah. They're probably not even,
wasn't
it's not even the only place, probably. It's probably all over the country. It's crazy. 100% Killer Man, yeah. Right, so, wow, this is my favourite bit. So listen to this. The Soviets could also do the same, apparently. So, with travelling to other dimensions. So they made the Psychic Warrior program. That sounds sick. I would have 100% been in the Psychic Warrior program, man. Like, what, like, job description, like, Psychic Warrior. All right, cool, man. So, with American psychic soldiers training to mentally defeat enemy spies, I have literally not a single clue on how the actual hell psychic warriors battle one another. Mayhem, have you got anything else on that?
There's a good example. The past 2 years, the government has defeated us just looking us up. There you go. Sorted. That's how it works, We're just being deprogrammed.
Hi, babe.
Oh, she's not coming in. Yeah, it's only two of us. She just decided not to join us at all,
I know, yeah. She's like our middle of the match, middle of UFC. The girl comes in a bikini with the scorecard or whatever, round 9. She's like that for our podcast. She brings in all the punters.
Yeah, and she always has
we could have doubled the viewers right now, babe.
Yeah, she always has the wrong poster,
Yo, Roll, how's it going, man? You good? Fucking hell.
They just come over to look at us.
I know, yeah. Have you got anything on this Psychic Warrior program then, Mayhem?
No, not yet. Why? Because you've just basically, I don't know, You just highlighted the
Yeah,
whole
I'm
Montauk part.
highlighting a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That's how I, I sort of go over things, and then you just do
Right.
things.
So
I've only
there
got
was
yeah.
no, keep going. You've only got that's it, yeah. So just go on, open your can, get the yeah.
Oh yeah, so this is you're going to elaborate more, but we did the Philadelphia experiment as well, and we've done it on this channel as well. I kind of ran late. So the Philadelphia experiment is linked. Mayhem will go into that a bit more. It's good because every time I've just done a little smidgen on a little subject of it, I can always put it over to Mayhem, so that's pretty good. They even used nuclear
Yeah, let
power
me carry the weight on my
generators.
shoulders.
So they used nuclear power generators to give the project more power, and right. So as well as so then they're strapping children to chair. That just imagine Stranger Things. You've got this visual now. Stranger Things. You're in a chair. You got a skull cap on. You got wires, and you're teleporting to. So this guy time traveled this lad to 1976 to look at a black Russian submarine called Akula. And then all of a sudden, they needed more power to teleport people further. So they put in nuclear power generators to make the project 10 times. And they managed to teleport a man to deep space, apparently, says the whistleblowers. Take it how you will. And when he returned, he died shortly after because of the exposure to deep space. I'm just giving you the light version. And then Mayhem will give you the paid version. The craziest thing I read, though, this is just out there, man. The craziest thing I read was in 2012, President Obama himself was teleported to Mars, okay, to meet with an alien delegation running a cooperative research base with Americans there as well that worked alongside aliens because aliens had the hand in the Project Montauk. This is ridiculous reading this. Because it was the alien technology we was using. If Mayhem, anything on that? I couldn't say that with a straight face. Everything was kind of believable until that point.
Okay, so if you look on the internet and you read books, and there's a Montauk Chronicles. It's a 2-hour movie that was made, and it was trying. It's not a documentary. It's more like shit. It's more like half documentary, half a movie. Half a film that tells the story. But we have to remember that it's all connected to Philadelphia experiment, and it's like Back to the Future shit.
Yeah.
Marty McFly gets into, Rick and Morty goes in behind,
Yeah.
and there's a Star Wars flying over, and the Star Trek helps everything. So this is how it's so fucked up.
Philadelphia experiment, we did that as well. We haven't done it on this channel. We did what did we do? We did Admiral Byrd. Philadelphia is on the other channel. That was they teleported a whole warship, and when it reappeared, the crew that was on it was all mangled into the ship. It was all part of the ship, dead. Every person came back dead, not a single survivor. The
teleport jumped over the board and into the green fog, and they just reappeared in the bar. There's a story that two sailors or a couple of sailors, they jumped over the board, and there was when all started, the green fog appeared. So we have to make it as a horror movie, right? So I'm going to be scared, shitless after that anyway. So the green fog appears. They turn on the generator in the engineer room in underneath the ship, and what happens there is they jump over, and there's a story that a couple of seamen. I said that.
Oh, it gets me every time. I'm 33, man.
Yeah, a couple of sailors, they appeared in a pub somewhere, and they got in a fight, and then they just reappeared on the ship after all. Things happen strangely, but there is a person that's connected to it.
Oh yeah.
His name is Al Bielek. Have you heard of Al Bielek?
No, I haven't.
Right. So apparently, Bielek is the man that watched Philadelphia experiment in 1988. Right. I want to get it right. So he didn't remember anything. Apparently, his past life, it was under a different name and so on. But it's so fucked up. You just have to get your hand around, right? So apparently, he was an engineer, electrical engineer on the USS Eldridge.
Okay.
So and he was the part of that Philadelphia experiment. And remember, the Navy was trying to make the ship not able to being detected by any enemy radars. So that was the point of it. So what happened during the Philadelphia experiment? Basically, the ship disappeared. They reappeared in a different place. The CIA, U.S. Navy, the U.S. Navy, they just said no. It just took off from one place and reappeared again because of the time frame, and nothing happened. So he claims to have been one of the actual sailors who were below decks in the control room operating generators which powered the USS Eldridge altogether. He doesn't remember that until 1988 when he sits down, opens the can of beer, right, and watches Philadelphia Experiment. It's not the one, the newest one. Then you can watch on Rent. It's just like it's not a B movie. It's a lower class of Hollywood movie.
Bollywood, there's a bunch of Indians
Yeah,
doing it
I wouldn't call it.
on the ship.
So yeah, and he sees that, and his memory is unlocked.
So Babe just put his memories came flooding back. He learned that his name was Al Bielik or whatever. After all, born Edward Cameron, apparently.
Exactly. Ed Cameron. Remember the surname Cameron because we're going to go to a different person, right? So he passed away in 2011, age 84. His memories are written down, and he never changed his story until he never changed his story. He died just saying the same thing. So is it true? Well, we'll find out. So the story, he's an electrical engineer. He does his stuff for Montauk project, and another person, it's Stuart Swedlow. Stuart Swedlow is one of the boys from the Montauk project. Allegedly, Albielic claims there was around 10,000 boys they took part in this Montauk project. They were strapped in the chair, they were taking part in experiments, and around 1% of them survived. And then 1% of that 1% was able to live the normal life after all.
That's messed up.
That number by more people is being multiplied by 10. So basically 10,000 to 100,000 kids disappeared altogether. So, well, when they were strapped in the chair, apparently, allegedly, when they were doing those experiments, some of them didn't survive in the first run. The body exploded, got fried
yeah, I
up.
can't imagine why. You've got this skull cap on metal onto your skin
Exactly.
with
So they
wires
weren't able.
doing footnotes.
Or
And
they
it's
went
just
as
planning
far.
normal electricity, and then you're hooked up to it. You personally are hooked up to a nuclear generator.
Yeah. And Albielic says that just before he got teleported from 1943 to 1988,
yeah,
or maybe his consciousness was basically transported from one to another.
Babe says again, he'd been de-aged, had his memory wiped, and had been forced to live out the rest of his life as Al Bielik, is what it says. De-aged.
Don't know how's that possible?
That's crazy.
They're trying to explain is that they weren't operating just moving the bodies around. It's just your own consciousness, like your own soul was traveling through time or being transported to one place to another. So basically, if I was sitting in a chair and I thought about you or Beep, I would be inside Beep, and
Easy
Beep
target.
wouldn't even know about it. So basically, the soul or consciousness was just replaced with me. That's what they're trying to explain by those videos and the books. And
So what they said is, so everybody has this ability. Apparently, everyone has the psychic / telekinesis power in them, but it's stronger in some people than it is other people. And they were using the strongest ones that could move like sort of the Matrix, like bend a spoon, move a table a little millimeter. Them sort of people they were using for these psychic warrior programs and things like that.
Kids, boys,
yeah,
especially.
Hence
That's
the
where they were
Stranger Things, all the kids there.
Yeah, boys, but 11 is a girl, so that's I had to change it. Originally the creators of Stranger Things, they wanted to name it Montauk, just Montauk.
But it was copyrighted or
They
something somehow.
Yeah, they wanted to place it in New York as well, like on the same place the Camp Hero was.
Yeah.
Yes,
Man, they
but
could have as well. The abandoned place, that'd have been mental if they'd have done it there. Holy shit.
and they think there's some underground tunnels there as well, like. But
So,
geological survey said that it's impossible because the area of Camp Hero is like, the glacier just spits everything out, and that's just the leftovers, and the glacier just pukes everything out. It's just the sand, crushed ground and all that stuff just boiled together. So they're saying it's impossible to have underground tunnels there
But
because
that
the earth collapsed.
Preston Nichols come out afterwards. He wrote books and all sorts. He went proper public and mental about it, but
Oh yeah, all of them did.
he got seriously discredited and nothing proven true and just absolutely shot down. But it's either he's full of shit or obviously if it's the government involved, they would shut something like that down. You can't just, not.
Yeah,
He says this, but the government are the government. They control
I'm
everything.
sure government tells you something, and it's always a different thing anyway.
Yeah.
So Preston Nichols, he was electrical engineer. He worked with Bielek. He claims that through hypnosis and brainwashing, he was made to forget that he was living a double life. Right? So
Yeah,
double life
that's what
by
I'm saying
day.
about the hypnosis and things like that.
Yeah. So by day, apparently he was the not well mannered engineer. Nobody liked him. And by night, he participated in some strangest experiments, which is one could imagine. That's what he says. He claims to have used a modified version of the old Montauk radar under duress to generate an updated Philadelphia experiment for exceeding, numero uno altogether.
Mm.
But that's Preston Nichols. So Preston Nichols, we'll come back to him whenever we're closing the whole project because Stranger Things, they have the Beast.
Yeah, in the Upside
Montauk
Down.
project, Cam Hero has the Beast as well. Yes, that's
How did I not come across that?
Allegedly.
I already thought that. As soon as I said Stranger Things, I thought, shit, man. There's going to be some mad monster in there.
Duncan Cameron, a brother of Ed Cameron.
Okay.
Right? He was one of the central figures. So he was one of those boys with powers. So he could sat in the chair and he could, at the very end, he was one of the main ones. He was actually the leader, not the leader, but he was the boy to go to. And he was actually doing all the stuff. He experimented with the travels. He apparently he landed
Like a
on Mars.
superhero.
And he transported himself to Mars. His consciousness was transported to Mars, and he could see back in time. But what we spotted, I'll tell you later. So, according to
instead
Bielek,
of his whole body disappearing, his mind was going places.
Just his mind appearing in some other form on the other planet. So that's how far they apparently that's how far they ended. So according to Bielek, so we know that Duncan Cameron is one of the central figures, the main man, the numero uno, el persona importante. So according to Bielek, he was his brother while he was at Cameron, who jumped off the USS Eldridge and landed in the future. Allegedly, both were sent back to Eldridge to destroy the equipment that was keeping the ship in the hyperspace. So, hyperspace. They come to the point when they open the portal or they create a hyperspace when they travel through it, or it's like the starting point. It's like the loading game.
It's like being inside the Hadron Collider.
Yeah, so it's like you have a screen with loading games. So Duncan Cameron is sitting in the chair. He's connected to everything, and he creates something appears, right? And they're going through. And so at some stage he was creating the portals, and the you could see the other people on the other side, and we waved at them, and he could wave at them, and those portals were sent back in the future. Sent back. Fuck. They were sent in the future. You could see in the future. So you have there standing. The portal opens. You're walking by Tesco, and the portal opens, and something waves to you. What are you going to do? You're going to fucking run. But people in the future, they were just waving back. So what they decided, they were sending away teams up, and sometimes he had to keep that portal open for so long so the away team could cross it. It wasn't like you're going through and you appear at the other side straight away. So what happened? That portal,
it was a middle
could have been
point.
like 30 meters long.
Right.
For the travel, you could feel
yeah,
you could feel like a 30 meters. So he has to keep that open until away team or one person goes through. What happens is sometimes it closes before the team,
and they get stuck in the nether.
So they just get
the middle.
in ether. So they're just gone. and we don't know what happened. So that's why the claims are there that they're from 100,000,
I
10,000,
suppose if you're in the middle, other portals are opening up here, there, and everywhere all the time. You could just jump through one, but where would you end up?
Yeah. But how did they get to it? That's MK Ultra shit for you.
Oh, so
How did they
yeah,
get to it?
obviously, MK Ultra and things like that. Yeah, and the Stargate, right? So I haven't got nothing wrote down. It's the top of my head. Stargate program was the same thing. They used these people, like I was saying. They picked the strong people with the strong psychic connection that could move stuff with their minds and shit just a little bit. They picked them to be part of this Stargate program, and they actually had it where they ended up with a group of 10 people or so that sat in a room, and it was their job to predict outcomes slash things like world events, like problems and stuff like that. And they were also linked to all of the other government agencies, CIA, NSA, FBI, and all that stuff that would call on them for their help if they got stuck on something. They could use their psychic abilities. But they spent 38, 40 million on this Stargate project, and it shut down. They opened up somewhere else. They used these people, but there was only right 15% of the time. These people could, in their mind, they actually was successful on one mission, and I think it was locating an aircraft or a ship or something there, and they located the ship within 2 miles of what the exact coordinates they just said in their mind, which was crazy. But there was only right 15% of the time, so it was sort of worked, it sort of didn't, and then they scrapped the project. That was a Stargate program, so you can look at that. That's all in with this stuff as well. So they actually had a team of psychics trying to solve the agency's, well, America's problems.
Or look, by Project Stargate, Stargate Project, they were using a device to do it.
Yeah,
So they were using a device very
the
similar to the
chair.
one you see on the Stargate
Yeah,
movie,
to
not the chair,
amplify their
to
it
amplify.
like
So
X-Men. Xavier
yeah, exactly.
goes
They have
into his
shit
room
around it.
and it amplifies his that shit. He sits inside a massive golf ball, puts his little helmet on, and then it amplifies his thing powers.
How did they get to it? How did they get to that? Oh shit! So
It
this is
baffles
gonna be
me.
this.
Like, yeah, all right, they've got this device that sits on your head, but how the fuck?
Right.
Right, so it was the aliens.
There is a theory. There is a theory. There is a theory that at the same moment the USS Eldridge disappears, there's this a shining object that disappears with it.
Okay.
There's a shining object flying over that disappears with it. And what happens is that object's been transferred to the beginning of the Montauk project timeline, and it crashes somewhere, okay? And they recover it, and they create a chair from parts.
Of the
It's like
ship.
reverse, yeah, it's like reverse engineering. So they reverse. They apparently they have four of those chairs at some stage.
It's this
We're gonna,
a big ship.
yeah, we're gonna get we're gonna get into it, but they created and they amplified. There's some stories that there were gray men, the grays, helping them all together. You know, remember that EBE-1? We were talking about it.
Rings a bell.
In EBE-1 is the extraterrestrial that actually survived the crash, and they
Right,
had him
yep.
locked up. And there was a movie.
Yes.
It's on YouTube as well, like that you can see, and he talks about it. And the question he's asked is, "Where you from?" "I'm from Earth." But why? How? No, I'm from the future. I'm next. I'm you, but I'm evolved into me.
That's a long
So
fucking time.
yeah, it's a long, long time. And they asked him what happened with humans. Oh, you killed each other in nuclear war, which probably is going to start soon
Yeah,
anyway.
that's probably like
And
next
that's how
year.
it happens. And the survivors are there. It takes 1,000 years to evolve, and people remember what happened, and they don't want to happen again. And and he says, but he dies. But before he dies, he gives them some instructions on how to create certain stuff. But that's just we're talking about conspiracy theories now here. So that's just one of the theories that happened. And there's another theory that there were actually greys there that were helping them while the chair was stuff. But let's go back. This is a really dark part of the story at the moment because they had those boys, and the boys were either kidnapped, uh, and other ones that were basically just orphans or the homeless
Yeah.
ones that were just picked up from the street. And they were testing those boys for abilities. There was a game I can't remember the name of the person that there was a card game that was uh, developed by one of the psychologists or psychiatrists, and you had one part of those cards marked with the cross, circle, triangle, and stuff like that, and the other card, like I'm showing, is nine of clubs. Yeah, it's nine of clubs. So the other person the boy couldn't see it, but he says, "I'm looking at that card, and there's a black circle, but you can't see it. So you tell me, what is it?" And that boy was getting into without even knowing what he was doing. He was getting into the hand. They weren't even called handlers, just the instructor's mind, and he says, "Yeah, that's it." So once they pass a certain threshold, they were accepted to the program.
That's
And the boys didn't
crazy.
know what was going on. Yeah, the boys didn't know what was going on. So you had a certain levels of programming. So the first level was, I don't know, they didn't let them, the MK Ultra, that they put the dog in front of them and you shoot it, just to get the motions over and stuff like that. But they were basically holding them under the water as long as they were basically out of breath, and they said they give up, and they were just lifting them up, putting them back into the dark rooms, tighten them up with the with the cuffs or anything else. The guys were bleeding, they were beaten, raped,
Oh
you
shit.
know, on and stuff like that. But then they were stepping into those rooms, and the punishment or those tortures were getting worse and worse, and they were getting to the last room when the person, and I think it was one of the main men of the Montauk on the Camp Hero. I think his name was Jack. I can't remember the surname of. And he was the man that was saying, "Come on, I'm here." So he was unchaining them, he was cutting the ropes, and he says, "Here, I need to help you, but you're not going to be going through that again. But I need you to do something." And they were told that they're going to do stuff to protect the country
Save the
because no
world.
one
They're like
else. Yeah,
superheroes.
yeah. So because no one else can do it. So yeah, the guys were sitting on the chair, and as I said, 1% of those lads survive. I mean, survive, but then another 1% of them. I could be wrong with the numbers, but I'm trying to paint a picture here. How many of them were actually able to live normal life after that? So they were
Yeah, there's no
deprogrammed.
way.
So back in your head, that was
Yeah,
just
I
set
don't
there.
think
That's
they
what you
would
have
though,
to do.
man. If I think they deprogrammed the ones that didn't work. If
The
any,
ones that didn't work, they just got rid of the body.
oh yeah, I guess so. But if they did work, move the project, like send them to another project. They would not. That's got to be the amount of money they spend. Now it doesn't matter whether you're a child or you have a life or a soul. You are now property of the government. You are an asset. You are whatever
Yeah.
money they've put into it. They're not going to let you go that easily. They're going to get the use out of it. I think the deprogramming thing is, I don't know. It's nearly sort of a Jason Bourne sort of situation, where just complete
Agree.
mind wash. But if they turn or anything like that, then yeah, they get assassinated. But they tried to get Jason Bourne back for so long because of the amount of money they spent on mind control and programming, and that was just through
On
like
the other hand,
beating
yeah,
shit.
you're correct there, 100%. But on the other hand, they could only use boys to a certain age. So what are they going to do with those boys
Why
afterwards?
is that? Because their psychic ability was
The abilities,
strongest.
uh, there, somebody's. I've heard
'Cause if they
that's
go
very
missing when they're a boy, they're not going to miss them when they're an adult. So put them out
yeah.
yeah.
Somebody said a very interesting thing on one of the podcasts I was listening to. Yes, I do listen to podcasts. So
Wow,
the
really?
one of the people said that we are born with all the informations in the world, and we're just being taught how to forget it. We're just forgetting it when we're getting older, and that's why we're going to school, and that's why we learn this shit
Is that
again
the
and all that.
remembering your past life stuff?
Could be,
Have
could
you
be. Never
seen
know.
Infinite with Mark Wahlberg
No, not yet.
on Amazon? Do you know what it is?
Yeah,
So this
I
is a
think.
very, 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 very small percentage of people remember their past lives.
Mm,
So, but they can't remembering their past lives. They just know how to do shit. So Mark Wahlberg is one of these 0.001% of people, and it's in the 20th century, whatever. It's 2021, whatever. He makes this absolutely perfect, one of a kind samurai sword. Just makes it himself. Doesn't know how he's done it. He just makes it. He wants to sell it because he's after some money. And they're like, "Wow, like how the fuck did you make that?" And he used to be a blacksmith in fucking 1280 AD or something like that, you know,
Yeah.
a Japanese blacksmith, and he's remembered. And eventually, when you remember, it all comes back, and the things you can do, the fighting, the everything you can do, you remember everything. So, but it's such a small percentage of the human race that tries to do it. I don't know if that's even a thing. There has been obviously very weird cases of children saying, oh, like, I remember that house, and that's where the dog was, and that's where the tree swing was, and they remember specifically, never been there in their lives. They're probably about 6-year-old. They take them, the parents sometimes on a whim just take them to this place. It does exist, and then they tell you exactly where something is, and it's fucking weird. But the kids do remember their past life. It has
Yeah,
been
and
happened, like,
do you remember dying in the airplane crash on Pearl Harbor? Like,
yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, legit. Yeah, and
so
like
yeah, it's true.
exactly where tree swings was, and things like stuff's buried, and they dig stuff up. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it
How?
is very interesting, the idea that you're born with knowing everything,
Yeah.
and and basically that's what happens. But there is a story about UFO, and when I mentioned that. But let's jump to the EBE. I have little thing on the EBE, which I already said. Right. So there's a Albilig remembers one thing, right? That they actually they were keep telling him, and he input into his project? We don't know. So he says the humans are born, or I should say, not only born, but at the time of conception, as he found out in his research, with their own time locks.
Okay.
Now, would you have to go into some rather obscure physics? I leave it out to math and try to make it simple. We're not living in a three-dimensional universe. We're living in five-dimensional universe. The fourth and fifth dimensions are time. The fourth time dimension, of course, has been well alluded to be a clown as by Einstein and others. So that's how they go through it. So the fifth dimensional concept actually goes back to 1931, and da, 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 da. He realized, as is known today by some physicists, that the fifth dimension is also time. It is a spinor or vector rotating around the first primary vector, which indicates the flow and direction of time. Get your head around it. I've been trying
You
not to
explain
work it, but these,
science to me now.
yeah,
Oh
no,
god.
no, we trust science, you know that. So the flow is, we can't feel it, right? So we say that we are moving forward in time. That's because of our looking at it and our reference. We don't sense time, but it does flow at a fairly stable rate. And this other vector running around is no concern to us normally. So what they were trying to do, they were trying to work our way around it,
hmm
just to move ourselves around that fourth and fifth dimension. But I mentioned I mentioned the boys and the hard times they've gone through. And the main person that goes through is Duncan. So Duncan gets on that chair
This is
and he tries
Professor
to create.
Xavier of the group, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he is the one. Yeah, but he's going to that stage that he doesn't need the chair anymore. That he can do it himself without the chair.
Mm.
So the first they were trying to
Oh,
open the
that's
portals to
crazy.
look. Yeah, the first they're trying to open the portals to look through it. And they describe, at some stage, they describe that the boys that didn't make it, some of the bodies were burned. Some of them just could shit themselves, they exploded, the heads exploded, the head stayed there, and the body just got burned.
Imagine being a scientist or whatever on that. That this Preston Nichols guy was just an electrician there. You
Just
fucking see a child
electrical engineer, yeah.
electrical engineer and a child fucking explodes in front of you.
There were there was a question by Al Bielek on one of the
I
movies, and
suppose it's like
he
the
said,
guys that work at Area 51 though. They're just normal people. They're signed by confidentiality. Sign here, sign here, sign
NDA.
here. 38 more times. And if you say, "Oh, we'll kill your family." All right.
It is a bit fucked up, like, but now, you know, before we jump into anything else, is the place that the camp hero is on, the build on.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So
It's got to be
I
like
have
an
something
ancient
about it.
Indian burial ground or something.
No, it's not actually, but uh, it belonged to Indians. You know,
Always
what
does. Yeah.
always does. It hasn't
legit.
but it was
It's
taken back. Yeah.
yeah, spiritual land, dark energy places. Like there must be something on the scales or the readings or EMFs or something there that they're attracted to. Why would they do it there? Like, yeah,
So it's been the Montauk Indians. They were living in that region, and apparently they were living there for at least they were living there for at least 8,000 years before the camp here was,
damn,
and before that was taken from them.
yeah.
So it's a very noteworthy to point out that chiefs of the Montauks have held the name of pharaoh, like the Egyptians ones,
Oh, okay.
right? Their history long before any white people had arrived to impart such a name to them. They wouldn't teach them, so they already knew that. So the theory is there that there are certain points on Earth that are interconnected to each other. So we have
Yeah,
the
there's something to do with
pyramids,
the
we have
pyramids.
Mayans,
Yeah,
yeah, we
yeah,
have that, and then one of them was wherever the Montauk's lands was there was the Camp Hero, where is situated on one of those, either that on the Brookhaven, which is back towards the New York, as we know the Brookhaven is on Long Island. You
yes.
wouldn't put the skyscrapers there because of the ground. Uh, it's like, as I said, it's like a glacier just pukes each out, it just creates that land. So it's not like the
Like a
mountains,
volcano goes off
it's
underwater.
like, yeah, it's like the Chinese mountains when you have those tunnels built, with the special, with the air forces and
That's
so
the
on. You see in the
Stargate.
movies, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly, yeah.
yeah.
So the evidence indicates that we're there for at least 8,000 years before the white men came in.
That's crazy, man.
That's crazy, right? So it is geologically distinct from Long Island and North America. It could theoretically be a remnant of the Atlantis
Uh, yeah.
altogether. Yeah. And the name Pharaoh was most likely derived from Atlantis, both in Egypt and Montauk.
Holy shit.
So that's one of the theories. Like so.
But that's weird because
But
actually Stargate had a show called Atlantis as well, where they did underwater Stargate.
yeah,
So
um, uh, when I said we do a Montauk project, I said, yeah, I have everything scripted, but you can't
you can't because it's
because
so all over the shop. You've gone from ancient Indians to burial grounds to pyramids to space to time travel to different dimensions to
uh,
light speed. Oh, no wonder them
yeah,
kids' heads exploded. Mine feels like
yeah,
it's going to.
exactly. So let's go to the project itself, right? So the
Stargate suck.
experiments, yeah, they're probably asleep already there, right? But the experiments began in early 1970s.
Yeah,
So the facility was expanded to as many as 12 levels and several hundred workers. I kind of, the crews that are going over there and trying to investigate, they see all the hatches being sealed off or just flooded. And they're cemented over. You can't even enter anything bar. I think you can only enter the tower itself. But
yeah.
when the people enter the tower, there's a shaft going down.
You
There's
can't.
basically
It's
elevators
full of
going down. You can see them, but they
concrete.
can't go down there. So
They filled the all of it with concrete.
yeah. So
Oh shit!
it's how far did it go?
It's sort of
How far?
preserved
Yeah.
though. Saying that you could get a team to dig all that through that.
Yeah. So it says homeless people were abducted and subjected. So let's just sum it up before we go even further, right? So homeless people, orphans, the kids were
Oh
were,
yeah,
were abducted and subjected to a huge amount of electromagnetic radiation. Only few survived. So you know, I think few survived to remember what happened there.
yeah,
And we have the Stuart Swerdlow there. People had their psychic abilities enhanced to the point where they could materialize objects out of thin air. Stuart Swerdlow claims to have been involved in the Montauk project, and the result, he says, his psionic faculties were busted, but at the cost of emotional instability, post-traumatic stress disorder, and other issues.
yeah,
So it's basically like a kid being raped all the time.
yeah.
That's how it is. But that's what happened, allegedly happened to them. They were waterboarded,
I don't know
they were
why they had to go through all that.
MK Ultra.
Yeah, I mean they used
How you bend
MK
the
Ultra
psyche
was
of someone.
LSD and acid and things like that, wasn't it? Mind
Would have
control with
been,
LSD, but that was given
yeah,
to
but
like thousands, just the general population. when it like, go and see your doctor today and sign this, and we'll put you up. We'll give you money for stuff, won't it? And
Yeah.
people will go into these places and they will pay to take LSD. And apparently Charles Manson and all that sort of stuff was linked to MK Ultra and is the reason why he is how he is. And he had a fucking cult as well. So how well did that go?
Now listen to this. A porthole in time was created which allowed researchers to travel anywhere in time or space. It was developed into a stable time tunnel. So at the very end, the time tunnel was opened.
Oh, shit.
Right? Now, just a reminder, 2 days ago or yesterday, the Hadron Collider has been restarted after 3 years.
Okay.
At 10 a.m. I think it was the 23rd of March at the 10 a.m. Did you feel anything?
I don't feel
Did you feel
anything.
that wave? Did you feel that wave going through you?
No,
Like
but that
reality is
like
changing?
that guy that stuck his head in Russia's one. I think it was.
I remember that one,
It's
yep.
just a beam of light, and he's just like. Zoop.
Yeah, see it.
Like he lived, man. I don't know how. I think he's still alive now, but he got like cancer and shit. But
Now, they're saying that the contact was made with alien extraterrestrials through the time tunnel, and technology was exchanged with them, which enhanced the project. This allowed broader access to hyperspace. So this is the hyperspace they're talking about. So it's
that's
creating, going
crazy, man.
through.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it is crazy.
the hyperspace and portals and stuff. So, but why are they still like making spaceships and like trying to get to Mars and stuff if they could simply just walk through a door there? Is that all for the? Is that all a facade for the general population to say we haven't advanced as far as we have?
Look how long it took them to give the internet to the public.
Yeah. What was it, like 10 years or something?
Yeah, so, and they thought that no one's going to use it. They're going to have like 100 websites and it's just going to die. And
Yeah, I know. Yeah, now
using it.
look at it. Yeah,
Like, you know?
now it's fucked. Yeah, just scroll Twitter for 10 minutes. You'll realize.
Yeah, fuck that. And mayhem.
Yeah, man, shorts. Yeah. Oh
Now,
man.
this is the one from Stranger Things. An alien monster traveled through the time tunnel, destroyed equipment, and devoured researchers. The tunnel was shut down and the creature was destroyed. So we know the end of it.
Okay.
But we don't know who summoned it.
How did they destroy it, man? Like I imagined immediately it was sort of Ghostbuster guns, like lightning guns and shit. Holy
Yeah.
crap.
So mind control experiments were conducted on runaway boys, were abducted and brought out to base. They were underwent excruciating periods of both physical and mental torture in order to break their minds. Then their minds were reprogrammed. So that's what you do. You break your mind so you do what you're told and you won't say no. That seems right, doesn't it?
Yeah,
If you
man.
want somebody to do stuff for you, because whatever way they were doing, that wasn't just this, stocking up the shelves in Tesco. There was some other shit, like a proper shit they were doing.
So Beeb just reading how true I don't know, but whilst Duncan was in the chair, someone whispered the time is now to him, and that was what let loose the monster from his subconscious.
Fuck off, Beep.
There you go, Beeb, get fucked.
You're fucked, yeah. Yeah, that's how it happened. So as I mentioned, Beep just destroyed the whole show for us anyway.
Oh shit.
I wanted to build up that excitement for you guys, just to go in, don't fall asleep, get you on the proper frequency and listen to the story. But what happens there? Yes, the true. So let's go back in time a bit. So Duncan Cameron is the numero uno there. So he does everything for them. So at some stage they were trying to materialize objects he was thinking of. Right? Don't read me what Beep says there. I don't want to hear. I don't want to talk to her.
I can block her if you want.
No, you're grand. I'm not. So the Duncan Cameron, he says, "Oh, it's like, shit. I don't know. Think of a peach, right?
Mm.
Okay, he's thinking of a peach. But what happens there? He managed to get
Think
that
of
peach travel in time as well. So that
Shrek
peach has
octopus.
already appeared.
Yeah.
In the canteen. Somebody picked it up, right? And he's eating it, right? And he's
But-
walking into the room with the Duncan lad sitting there in the chair, and he says, the people are asking him, so what did you think of? And he says, I thought about peach, and I put it in a canteen. And the man just eats the peach. What did you say?
Oh shit.
So, this is how far they go. So I'm kind of
What happened to Duncan then?
I'm trying to stray away. He's there. He's, you know, I don't know what he's still alive. I never gone as far
He was
into
just a
it.
lad, wasn't he?
He was just a lad. The
11.
one that he was, they picked him up because he was the most advanced. He has the psychic abilities they
Yeah,
were
it was,
there.
the force was
There were
strong in him.
everybody has it. Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody has it. Have you heard of the Earth frequency? I think it's 7 point something megahertz.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
very
something
little.
hertz, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very little. And you know the bees, the way they're flying, because um, the bees are heavier. They were impossible for them to fly with the little wings they have.
Like a T-Rex's arms, yeah.
Right? Yeah, it's like a T-Rex arms. You know why the T-Rex died? Because they couldn't maintain their proper toothbrush routine. They couldn't whack themselves.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
They were too stressed, But the bees, they have little
wings, big ass body. Yeah.
Yeah, you can hear that. Bzzz.
Yeah.
So apparently the inside of the bee is a bit empty, so they create a little chamber
Vacuum sort
inside,
of thing.
vacuum, and
Weird.
and that frequency they create, which we can hear, lets them fly.
It's
up
Earth's
and down,
frequency.
up and down. Yeah, that's Project Phoenix. The Phoenix Project for you there, buddy. But
that's crazy stuff.
So
okay.
you mentioned the Warriors, right?
The Psychic Warrior program was so sick.
Yeah. So Preston worked with Al Bielek on the psychic aspects of the Montauk chair and the Montauk Boys program.
Yeah.
Preston trained the Montauk Boys to be Psi warriors.
That's cool.
There was special alien technology chair outfit. They mention it all the time. Alien technology.
Yeah.
I'm kind of trying to strain away. I think maybe you never know.
Yeah, man. It was very short lived. If we did have alien contact, it was very brief, or it is still in secret or whatever. What gets me is Russia had the same thing going, and they both had psychic warriors, and they're both creating portals to each other's secret places. But like you said, there was a 30 meters. You go through a portal, and there's this space. And you go into it, and it's like a Mortal Kombat room, and there's a Russian psychedelic warrior in there, and an American US Navy SEAL Delta fucking psychic warrior, and they just start fucking now fight, and then the winner gets to go through the portal, man.
3, 2, 1, fight!
Yeah, like that, yeah, and it's just, but they're doing it with their mind and stuff as well, and throwing stuff from their mind, that's sick. But it was
What's
definitely.
Your tag? Sergey.
Yeah, yes. Yes, okay. Just Street Fighter sort of shit. But that Psychic Warrior program, how does one train to defend against attacks on the mind? How do you strengthen the mind? Is that the beating and the torturing to have a strong mind?
I think that the power of the mind is stronger than the bullet at some stage, because what can they do with the flock of people,
What,
just to program them by anything?
10 of these people, psychics.
Yeah.
Because obviously they're boosting their powers with generators, and then nuclear generators and shit. That's crazy.
Right. The Montauk chair, a little bit on it, right? I have some bits. You've already said them, but...
Do it again. That was ages ago.
No, it's not.
Hours ago. I've already forgot what I said.
So they're saying there was a special alien technology, but
that's when Obama went to Mars.
They were outfitted with coils. There were pick-up electromagnetic signals representing the thoughts of the person occupying the chair. These signals were then highly amplified and rebroadcast by the transmitter, where they generated physical manifestations in a region of space. The Montauk chair used subtle quantum fields to read a person's thought. And there are pictures of those devices and their drawings on how to use it. The device also translated the electromagnetic field or aura around the body into a visible format.
It's weird
chair was used
it's a chair. I can't get... How does the chair produce quantum fields through a thing? That's how...
Yeah. Listen, we're only learning about the stuff they've done during the Cold War.
You would have thought it'd have been like rays in a room that emit some sort of laser, a beam, or
I'll tell you now.
Something like that.
I'll tell you now.
Because a chair is just mental.
Bank of radio receivers. Yeah, but listen to this. A bank of radio receivers designed by Tesla.
Nikolai.
would pick up and digitize the thought, turning thought into computer code.
Uh,
The radar tower was used to turn thought into reality.
this is the guy
That's how it
that
works.
created the earthquake machine.
So the chair was used for many purposes. One was to open up a vortex for time travel. Many boys were lost. As I told you, they were lost into the hyperspace. So just
That's
on. See ya.
mental. Yeah.
Yeah. No tombstone for you. Bye. They used the computer, which is called Cray 1 or IBM 360 back in the day. Don't fall asleep, Si. It's not
No,
over yet.
I'm just IBM. Yep, intercontinental ballistic missiles.
Yeah.
Or the bank.
So they had the chair to for the remote view window one you described. They had the chair for the time travel, looking glass, to see what's happening, and to creating objects out of nowhere. So quick things, right? So what happens is they're doing their projects and they're doing experiments. What am I drink now? But at some stage they were going to teleport from one place to another, and they decided to go to Mars. So one of the boys, I think it was Duncan Cameron,
But like, so you just said their subconscious just goes.
Yeah, and I was trying to.
So that's why that, like, don't you think to put on an astronaut suit anyway? Maybe in case you just end up on Mars as a full person.
Yeah.
Like that guy that went, because apparently if they did send the guy to space and he come back and he died.
Yeah.
You would have thought they'd have prepared a little bit more because people were disappearing from this chair, allegedly. It wasn't just their mind, it was their whole self.
It's you have to just read through it, read through it again to understand what was really going on. But what happens, he's getting teleported to Mars. But then he gets himself traveled through time. And he goes back time 150,000 years back, and he sees those megacities being built and being destroyed, being built up, built up, and the civilization being there. So in the movie,
did it have an atmosphere, or was it just like sort of?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So in the movie, Montauk Chronicles, there's a scene just before the monster is released. Is the main man Jack, the camp boss says, if we only knew that we weren't here from the first time. Boom. So what he's trying to say is that apparently we could have been, just appeared from the other planet, being moved, basically.
And now we want to move back.
Yeah. But the funny thing is that the Duncan lad, right? He's going, and he's at one stage he transports himself to 2,700, 2730 something, and he stays there for a while.
Yeah.
And after 2 weeks he's been vetted by people, and the people welcome him, right? And apparently those people know, hello, we
knew you was coming. Yeah,
you were coming. We heard about that stuff.
Yeah.
Stay over here. The culture is here. Everybody welcoming, and he's becoming a guide there, or some kind of stuff. And he just comes back at some stage.
Just has 2 weeks away and comes back.
Yeah, 2 weeks away. Yeah.
Shit.
How does it all end? So we're not going into technical details of it. But how does it all end? At some stage, Duncan's being exploited too much. He doesn't need that chair to use it. He's being asked to do so much stuff, and at some stage, Preston.
Like you said, where the place was built on top of all this, like it could have been dark energy / radio waves, etc. And he could do it now at will, so they didn't need that location anymore. Is that why they abandoned Camp Hero?
I don't know if they're still using it.
And they just moved him? Yeah, they're still using it now.
Question. Well, you said something about Obama, didn't you?
Well, there's a thing. There's a YouTuber, right?
Well, Obamacare didn't work for USA, so what the fuck?
Yeah, some people went to Camp Hero and they was doing the vlogs or whatever and doing the tour and having a look at Camp Hero, and they actually managed to get an interview with the caretaker. But when they went there to pick him up, the boss was there and he was refusing for this person to go into the
Yes.
car and say anything. And he was like, so it managed to secretly get him in anyway, and he had to duck and get past. And his boss was like, he goes, I'm just a caretaker anyway. And everyone was, and all of a sudden there was cars there, and there was just people concerned. It was like, don't say anything to these people. Yeah, or you'll lose your job and shit, basically. It's
and
like,
he was
fuck.
actually there all the time, so they had to meet him at some stage.
He was just a caretaker, like, but he's obviously
he's
seen
a
some
caretaker.
shit.
And he's
that's still going now.
First Amendment. He says, no, I can do whatever the fuck
Because you
I
can
want.
legit walk down that road. It's obviously fenced off, but you can see the building. You can see the big antenna on the top, and legit some weird CIA child torture chair futuristic stuff did happen there in the 80s, and obviously it's still going now, which is mental. But then what happens to this Duncan guy? Just Professor Xavier sat somewhere, just controlling shit, just nipping into the future. The fuck? It's mental to think about. You can't. It's a fucking science fiction film, man.
You want to hear about the Beast?
Ooh, Unleash the Beast, man. Go on.
So, how the movie, The Montauk Chronicles, it actually creates all the story about it, how that beast appears.
Okay.
So
this is the same thing that they're doing on Stranger Things, then. So this is all done by whistleblowers and shit.
Stranger Things, you have the
upside down,
the water chamber.
Okay, yeah, but you still have the beast there, don't you?
Yeah, you don't have a chair. You have the water.
Oh,
tank.
I remember. Yeah, I only see a few episodes of season 1. I haven't actually seen all the whole thing. I've seen bits and bobs. My son's watched the whole thing.
Very interesting.
11, yeah, shaved dead. She comes out in like the nighty thing, but yeah, I've seen her in the water chamber, and that like amplifies the sort of powers and shit. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay.
So Duncan is there. He's doing his job. But by the August 12th, 1983, everything was just working perfect.
Yeah.
But Duncan at some stage has enough. And in the movie, it's shown as the Preston, Duncan, and be like they're just saying to Duncan, talking to themselves.
How is this Preston Nichols so involved? Is it just because he's whistleblowing the whole thing?
He is, after all, he's one of those four people we're getting information from. At the very end, he tells all the story, and the stories.
He was just the electrical guy.
Yeah, the stories do. He was close to the main man, Jack. There, the Nichols lad.
Okay.
He knew what was going on, and at the very at the culmination point, he actually does something to stop the shit going, to get in even further. Like so. So at that time, the portal is working. They're doing experiments, sending away teams from one place to another. It's like that portal of Stranger Things. You have that little vagina there that you put your hand in.
The slit in there, yeah.
Yeah, you're slit in there, and it's working. They have everything's working. They send away teams. They're gathering information and so on and so on. So working past, future, more future, then so over. At some stage, I think he was transported to 6,000 or something, 6,000 AD.
Wow.
I don't know. Yeah. So they decided to crash the project. So while sitting in the Montauk chair, Duncan unleashed a giant beast from his subconscious. So he thought of something. It was like a hairy beast or something, right? Which literally
lots of arms, big blob, basically. It is.
Yeah. So the story goes that this giant, hairy, monstrous beast, referred to by Preston as Junior. So they already had the plan. So they told Duncan. They told Duncan what to think of, not what to think of, but say
it's lucky you want my mind strapped to that machine, mate, because everyone would just get attacked by a massive vagina or something, I swear. With arms and shit.
No, the only thing I'll be attacked is by massive boobs or something.
Yeah, they have to capture them and put them.
She's coming at us. There's another one. Look at the nipple.
This escalated so quickly. If you strap yeah, maybe we should go have a sit in the chair and see what we can do.
No, but what would Beep think about it? If she's still in the chat?
Yeah, she's still there. Oh, she put "old man, imagine." Yeah, and King Killer was like, "Yes, please," to the boob monster. Yeah, fuck, man. You wouldn't even have any thought if you were strapped to this chair. Someone put it on your head, and they said, "Think of something." You would be so on the spot. Who knows what you would think of at the time?
Yeah.
Anything would be. You can't. You'd be planning. You'd be like, right, I want this to a mountain of gold, a mountain of gold, a mountain of gold. Put on your head, hairy penis. Fuck, and then shit. You know what I mean? Like, Anything could happen, man, but that'd be great.
Don't add water to it. Don't add water to it.
Yeah.
Well, it's good because the New York is so close. There wasn't mafia involved in it, like, you know.
Yeah, they probably like
Tony
protected
Soprano, why are you
the
talking
whole
to
thing.
me? Let the
You're
blue.
talking to me.
Ooh, hey.
Oh,
But let's go back to it. So he was formed from a thought formed right out from the ether, right? The beast allegedly ran amok all over the base, and the only way the person could bring the ordeal to a halt was to disconnect the power to the radar. When that didn't work, there's a scene that Preston Nichols is actually talking to the Jackman. The Jackman says, "You need to go down there. You need to melt the some kind of electrical shit, and you just destroy it." And he says, "No, I'm not going to do it because that can attack me anytime."
oh
And
yeah.
there's a smoke coming from the places. All the cameras are being filled with the smoke, and all he has to do is basically just go there, but he doesn't want to. Now they're armed. They're armed all the time. So the Jack lad takes out the gun and he says, "You're gonna go there because I'm gonna drop you down. I'm gonna drop you right." And then Preston Nichols is on his knees, right? And he has a hand on the trigger and he's ready to pull out his gun out. But he doesn't. He decides to go. So he goes, he crawls through the tunnel and he crawls out under the smoke and just goes to that panel. He melts it down, and in the movie he's destroying that with a hammer,
Yeah.
and everything just disappears.
Are they using legit names in the movie?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
it's like part documentary, part movie, because you have those
Ah,
scenes. They're explaining Stuart Swedlow's history. As a boy, he used to see the plane, the UFO crashing in his neighborhood, and he's
okay.
being taken not by UFO, but he's taken by some guys later on. He's being kidnapped, and he's
That'd be
going through this
good
thing. He's one of those. Yeah.
to do a gaming pit thing, sort of where we put a movie on like of that sort of nature documentary slash film, and we just put it on and share the screen and watch it. That'd be fucking cool.
Yeah.
But I didn't know there was a movie on it. If you'd have messaged me, I'd have much rather watched a movie than
There is, yeah. It's on BitChute. There are
broke
two
down stuff.
parts. Yeah, there's two parts. I actually watched the first part
How long is it?
a week ago. It's a 2 hour one. The first part I watched a week ago, just before we wanted to. I never heard of that movie before,
Ah,
and
so you looked into it.
one of the research I done has just mentioned that, and I said, "Oh shit, I need to find it." And it's actually on BitChute in two parts. You can watch it. Um, I think the Weekend Warrior channel has it on. And just stick on it. I'll try to put some information into the comments on the audio, guys, for you. Sai is gonna do it on video
Yeah.
because he's already fallen asleep.
No.
But this is how it ends. This is Stranger Things, guys, and
I'm gonna watch it.
been shut down. It's just been shut down.
Babe,
So
when you said does no one know what happened to Duncan, I thought you was just gonna Google it and tell us all. And you just put oof. So if you wanted to
oof.
Google and tell us all, that'd be great.
Now there is a abstract from the book which talks about aliens over there, right? So I'm just, if you have time, I'm gonna read it out.
You go.
Okay.
I'm good, man.
And
Yeah, go for it.
then guys, you think it it doesn't have me convinced that much. Okay, I'm trying to think that we are maybe able to do stuff with Tesla and stuff like that. So so all four men, the Bielik, Swerdlow, Preston Nichols, and Duncan Cameron, claim to have seen extraterrestrials via the underground camp Hero facility, where there were quite a number of aliens at Montauk, said Bielik. Some were there on a semi-permanent basis. A lot of them were just visitors that came and looked at what they wanted to see and went back home.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, when you remember the nuclear tests, there were UFOs spotted over, and then there was remember the case we were talking about, the all the equipment on the base just started flashing, that was ready to go, and everything
Yeah,
just
yeah,
stopped.
yeah.
Remember that one?
Yeah.
So there were little greys there, which I suspected were degenerated humans from the future. Large grey aliens with our different species were also of Montauk, and they were highly intelligent. There were definitely alien beings at Montauk, Nichols said. We had the little greys and the larger greys, as well as a variety of reptilian beings. So this is where they have me as that. Okay,
This is not the center of the Earth,
yeah,
reptilians, is it?
guys. There's I have my set thoughts on flat Earth, and I have my set thoughts on reptilians. But if they appear to be true, I'm gonna say yes, I was wrong. Okay. Didn't want anything to do with me because they couldn't reach me telepathically. When I enter the room, they would leave, so they couldn't get that connection between each other.
Mm.
So there are pictures of, you know, of them at some stage. I don't know if you can see it. You probably won't because the screen is white. But there are pictures of them, and they look like the ones we can see on the movies. The grays, they have on the T-shirt with the eyes.
Yeah,
being
yeah,
in the
the
shape of the
egghead. Yeah. Paul.
So the experiments were completed and the destruction of the facility was completed. It was claimed that the facility was closed for good. All the staff were brainwashed,
Mm.
shot,
Wow.
or sworn to absolute secrecy, and all records destroyed. So you were either deprogrammed or you were shot. Make your choice.
Yeah.
It's a
Mind wipe
hidden
or
menu.
get
So
dead.
yeah, the guy comes over to you. So for you, sir, today we have, for starters, you're going to be brainwashed. If it doesn't work, you're going to get shot. And we're just
So
going to skip the dessert.
don't even mind wipe me, man. Just take me out for a few drinks. I won't remember
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, so they were trying people get in there. They thought it was a skate park, to use the cements, constructions and stuff like that. But this is the history of Montauk Project. And it
Man.
goes further to Brookhaven, and it goes further to Phoenix Project as well. And it goes back to HARP, and it goes it's connected to Philadelphia Experiment, and it's connected to Aleister Crowley as well at some stage.
Oh, man. It goes deep, man. It's like a tree's roots. Just
It is
expanding
fucked
all
up.
over.
And
That
I
was
actually cut
awesome.
I cut that in small pieces, guys, for you because there's more to it. It's whenever Duncan Cameron was going to Mars, he went to see those pyramids on Mars. We have pyramids. Apparently, we have
I
those. We won't
heard.
see them because they
But
never show us.
yeah,
But
the
at some stage, we
cutscene.
could have seen them. So he was
Yeah.
transferred there, and then how it all works. So shit, I don't know. Life is good.
Boy, that was crazy. That was crazy, guys. So that is the Montauk Project. That was podcast 5. I don't even know how long that went on for. 1 hour and 15. We did well because I felt like fucking 3 hours in there. But when
we could be going for 10 now with it.
It just sees just when me and Mayhem are just back and forth. Well, I usually start and then Mayhem usually finish. I do 15 minutes, he's on the hour. But yeah, damn, when we get into it, it's good. That's just so good. It's just sat there, we're just
We
recording.
squeezed
It's
some
just bam, bam,
Melanders
bam,
on
bam, bam,
into it
bam.
as well.
Like that, yeah? Yeah?
Yeah. We had vagina in it. We didn't have a dick jokes because Beebe's not here.
No. That's what was missing. Was missing the eye candy. That's why we only had 3 people watching. But she can rectify that. She can rectify that next week. It was fucking interesting. Thanks, Killer Man. You stayed for the whole thing. Appreciate you, man. Actually sick. Babe, thanks for coming. That was sick. We had some other guy at the start as well. If you're still watching, thanks for watching. Yeah, we're gonna end that there. That was the Montauk Project. We'll be back in 2 weeks with I don't know what. So not next Friday, but the
You're gonna
Friday
surprise
after.
with something.
Yeah, but I'll be trickling content all through the week in the way of shorts, highlights, and the full podcast will be tomorrow. And yeah, apart from that, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching as well, streamers, viewers, people, and I'll catch you next one. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Yeah.